Meat. What is meat? Is this a meat? Am I a meat? Is meat still meat if it was made in a lab? Or does it have to be done the stabby stab? How many hamburger-sized patties do you think a human could remove from their torso and still be okay? What kind of dark god would make suffering taste so delicious? All this and more on In the Meat. Have you heard of cultured meat? It's real meat grown from animal cells in a lab with no slaughter required. Finally, I can mukbang a slaughterhouse-sized pile of chicken nuggets with the chicken it came from alive and well sitting next to me. Here you go, buddy, you go great with the sweet and sour. Basically, how this works, and keep in mind, it's literal biological engineering, so I'm guessing it was probably dumbed down really hard when it was explained to me, is that they culture cells taken from live animals and place them in a controlled environment with a nutrient-rich slurry of sorts. They're kind of tricking the cells into believing they're still inside of an animal so that they grow. Like when you trick your bits into thinking that you don't have to pee by thinking about that one other thing that humans do with them. No cap, this actually works. Once they get to a large enough mass of cells, the scientists separate the meat from the nutrient sludge, hopefully wipe it off at least a little bit, and fry it up to be inserted into the human feeding holes. Hypothetical question. If I took one of my own cells and put them in one of these matrices to grow it, creating a human meat hamburger patty, is it cannibalism to eat it? Is there anything illegal about this?
Not illegal, not illegal. Show me the law, not illegal.
Keep in mind, these are my own cells, and I am consenting to this, and I am unharmed by this process. Could I sell AZFK nuggets in a fast food restaurant? This is kind of one of those things where I can't really name anything directly wrong with it, but it's still kind of sus as hell. I'm gonna host a one-time streaming special where I make a burger out of my own cells and eat it live on camera with musical guest Pink Guy's hologram. This process still needs a lot more refining, and there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be perfected before we can replicate every type of meat. For example, it's a lot easier to make a hamburger or a chicken nugget than it is a steak or a drumstick. Structured meat is a lot harder to create than unstructured meat. In nature, the meat forms around a bone, causing the formation of the unique structures of fat, ligaments, and muscle that we haven't been able to replicate perfectly just yet. We can get all the things in meat, but it's kind of just like a big blob in a dish right now. It's kind of like paper mache. What's easier to make? An elaborate structure of complex patterns and shapes interacting with each other in a very particular manner, or a shapeless blob? Some researchers had the idea for a synthetic bone-like material or an edible scaffold to get the meat to form around, and others have ideas for a type of meat cell 3D printing. This begs the question, how far are we from being able to 3D print living organisms if we can 3D print biological cells in a complex matrix? I fantasize about the day I can mass print a small army of screaming psychic pebbles-esque gremlin-like creatures to harass the local population. Why does no one believe in my business ideas? Another huge challenge is getting the flavor and texture right. This is because our brain is a hyper-paranoid conspiracy theorist when it comes to being poisoned. Have you ever eaten something that you've eaten a million times and something is just off? Even if you can't quite put your finger on it, unless you're literally starving, you'll probably stop eating. If you don't, you probably won't enjoy it as much as real meat because your brain is fixating on the fact that this is off. Some say that the early burgers had a, quote, cake-like texture. I don't know what this means. I'd probably go uncanny valley on it, but I'm curious and still want it in my mouth. Cultured meat could potentially eliminate much of the environmental stress caused from factory farming. This would make it possible to expand humanity's already overzealous meat industry without literally destroying the entire goddamn world due to the stress it puts on the environment. In addition, this could eliminate the killing that needs to come along with the meat. Right now, they use fetal bovine serum as the nutrient-rich slurry, which is derived from cow fetuses. Obviously, this is a problem for the vegans, but it's not a problem for me. Straight up, I'm upgrading my morality statistics from cows killed to cows aborted. It's not perfect, but it's slightly better, or worse, depending on how you look at it. I guess some Christians would think cow abortion is worse than cow murder. I don't know. No progress will ever make anything perfect. It's always just slightly better, or worse, depending on how you look at it. This revolutionary technology could literally save the world, but we're still running into problems. Even though it's probably not going to completely replace real meat, a lot of ranchers are rallying for states to pass laws to prevent this cultured meat from being called meat. In my opinion, this is the stupidest, most hypocritical thing I've ever heard in my entire goddamn life. Yes, they should have to label it lab grown, but this is still, by every definition, meat. That would be like a baker saying other people can't call their bread because they were baked in a different fashion from theirs. When progress comes, you don't crap your pants and run to mommy government saying other people being smart is unfair. You either nut up and shut up and refine your operation to get with the times, or you invest in the new thing that you're afraid is coming to replace you. No one said you can't be in on this. Make no mistake, you are choosing to be left behind like whiny little toddlers at an amusement park, and society is about to get the child leash. Okay, but when Taco Bell gets sued because only 36% of their beef mixture is actually beef and the rest of the 64% is probably goddamn silicone beads, recycled band-aids, and cockroach legs. Don't you look at me, it's 4 a.m. everywhere's closed and I already paid for this. Yeah, you could go ahead and call this meat, that's fine, even though it's mostly mystery sludge. Those 100% animal cell patties grown in sterile conditions, hell no, get that crap out of here and label it mystery sludge so I can get back to eating my huge mystery sludge filled Dorito that a tweaker dropped on the Taco Bell floor not 5 minutes ago and call it meat. One company developing this lab-grown meat is JustFood. JustFood has recently transitioned into culturing lab-grown meat, but they are much more well-known for making vegan alternatives to regular products. For example, JustMayo, made without eggs. Enter the American egg board. Yes, that is a real thing. If there's one thing that pisses off the American egg board, it's things that are normally made with eggs being made without eggs. They tried to intervene with basically everything that the JustFood company tried to do for a while. The group even joked in an email exchange about putting a hit on the JustFood CEO. Now, I didn't even know there was a American egg board, and I'm just now learning that they're thinking of militarizing. If you're a part of the American egg board, your job is probably a stupid one, and you're also a part of one of the most needlessly aggressive and progress-impeding boards in the world, and you should quit. Not only that, but you had so little going on other than the goddamn American egg board that you threatened a man's life because he doesn't like eggs, but he does like mayonnaise, and he thought he'd share. Now, I've seen some funny death threats from some sad, angry dum-dums in my day. I went after QAnon. If I got word that the National Egg Board was threatening my life, I would pee my pants. But not out of fear, out of laughter. If a member of the American Egg Board somehow sees this, if you threaten a man's life over mayonnaise, don't do that. Stop what you're doing. Do the opposite of that. I have never thought it'd be a good idea to recommend alcoholism as a coping mechanism, but it's healthier than mayonnaise-fueled murder threats. I'm really dumbfounded that an organization that only deals with eggs somehow immediately went mad with the very little power that they had. The kind of human that works at the American Egg Board is the kind of human that poops in the backup kitchen bathroom without first turning on the water and garbage disposal and aiming directly down the drain. God damn animals. Hey, whose house is this? One problem with lab-grown meat that doesn't involve humans being horrible beings that only look out for their own individual interest and worldview is the cost that it takes to produce this food. Right now, the cost for creating this meat is astronomical. The earliest examples of these cultured burgers were around $300,000, but the production cost consistently lowers as humans learn more and more about the process. As the technology develops, the price will likely drop substantially to a more sustainable level. I don't know, let's hope so we don't all die. If you like this video, you should like and subscribe and comment and all notifications enabled. Put all the metrics into it. Please give me more robot good boy points. Anyways, we recently hit 15k subs. That's pretty lit. Thank you all. I love that. Couldn't have done it without you, Colt. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a new mask and I'm in a new place, I won't explain the place, but I'll explain the mask. I left this in my car and somebody's borrowing it. Not this one, the other one with the eyeball man. Whoever just rang the phone, I am going to kill you. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for still watching and keeping up with the channel. It really means a lot that we got this far. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I will see you all in hell.